Welcome to the High Level Entrepreneur, a podcast with me, Joella Skog. In today's episode, I would like to talk with you about the identity shifts I had to make in myself as a leader of my business in order to take it from my first six figures up to multiple six figures year after year after year. All right. And one very clear identity shift I had to make was let go of the belief that doing more is always going to lead to more. And I feel like we know intellectually that doing more isn't always going to lead to more. But at the same time, we don't actually know it because we're not acting that way. We are trying to fill out our calendars with things to do. We're always trying to launch more webinars, do more ads, do more of this, do more of that. But I had to learn that sometimes doing more isn't actually the efficient way to scale and grow your business. And sometimes getting more clients isn't the key to growing your revenue, because sometimes it could be, how can I get to the point where I start charging 2 times, 3 times, or 10 times more for my offers and work with higher level clients instead of trying to get as many like 3K or 4K clients as I possibly can to grow. And that's how to actually work smart, and instead of just trying to get things done and trying to sell to as many people as possible. So when you look at like what needs to happen in order for me to be able to charge way more for my offers, you're going to prioritize differently. You're going to prioritize like the delivery to your clients differently. You're going to prioritize attracting better clients and clients who are most likely to have really good results in your business. And you're going to be very hesitant on taking on unaligned clients that are more likely to not be successful in your offers. And you're also going to prioritize your own level of industry leadership and authority and influence in your industry, because you know that if you're going to be the person who charges 10K for something that others charge 2K or 3K for, that requires a sense of leadership over your industry and truly becoming the one and only in the eyes of your ideal client. Because when I say industry leader, I don't mean being the best in your industry. I mean being a true go-to person who people see as highly valuable person, someone they want to spend a lot of money with, someone that high-level, self-led, intellectual clients want to work with. That's what I'm talking about. So that was a lesson I had to learn, and it took some time to understand this. But then I did get to the point when I was like, wait, I'm making 30K in a month or 35K in a month, and I'm actually working way less than when I was at 10K, 12K, 15K. Like, all right, now I get it. All right. Because scaling isn't just about making more money. Like, you might think so, but scaling isn't about more revenue or even higher profit. Scaling is also about like how much time do you spend on the delivery of those offers. If you are currently spending like 100% of your time working with clients, working on delivery to clients, then I don't know why you are bragging about your revenue, because like you might have good revenue, you might have good profit, but you're the bottleneck in your business, and your business could never grow beyond its current level, and it could never grow even to 7 figures. Like, you're going to be the bottleneck, and you can't take your business further. And at the same time, you're also working a lot and working hard to maintain that level. Like, if you have to get up early in the morning every single day, if you can't go on vacation whenever the F you want, if you like are in meetings every single day and you don't have at least 1 or 2 meeting-free days per week, like, do you have a business that's scaling, or do you just have a high revenue business? Like, there's a difference, right? So I think when people think about successful businesses, they usually like only look at the revenue. But I'm like, But look at the output of the CEO. Like, look at how much time that CEO is spending on delivering the offers. Like, we could all be at €1,000,000 or dollars or multiple six figures if we just said yes to everything and we just like filled all of our calendar with things to do. Then yeah, we could get to bigger revenue. But the power in a successful business model, in my opinion, is having a scalable business model, having profitability, but also like having a lot of time, not just free time and time for yourself, but also time on the growth and the long-term growth of your business and developing yourself and developing the business, not just executing tasks or executing your business. Okay. So that was a lesson I had to learn, is like truly step into the CEO role of my business instead of trying to put as much work or put as many projects on my table as possible. So that, like, for me, doing client work is not what that's not how I feel productive. I love helping my clients. I love supporting them, but it's not like contributing to the growth of my business in like it is, of course, because my business, like my clients, if they are satisfied, if they are happy, they're going to come back, right? And they're also going to give me good testimonials and good results. So the delivery is important. So that's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm saying is a lot of people feel like I'm only spending valuable time if I work with clients, if I'm being paid for my time. And that's not a smart way to look at it. Like, if you're being paid for your time, then what's happening is you are busy. You're busy. You should be executing and delivering to your clients, yes. But if you value your productivity level based on how many clients you have or how hard you work for your clients, that's not necessarily productive time every time. At least not for the business growth, is what I'm saying. The next thing that I had to learn in order to scale my business to multiple six figures year after year, I had to really become the kind of leader who can deal with problems, challenges, mindset blocks, like new level, new devil stuff. When you upgrade your level, there are new problems, new mindset challenges. I had to become someone who can deal with new set of challenges, new set of problems. Like, the more clients you sell to over time, the more clients you have, the more likely you're going to be to deal with client problems or an unsatisfied client or something like that. So those are problems that you have to deal with if you want more success and you want more clients. That's never the goal, but it's inevitable. Like, it's inevitable. If you have never had an unhappy client, you haven't had a lot of clients. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you have to deal with stuff like that. You might deal with like doing a business deal with someone and getting screwed over. You might deal with something like investing into ads that didn't work, or, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to deal with. Nevertheless, with your own mind, your own mindset challenges, right? And those are things that you have to become the person who can handle those things. And a lot of my mentorship with clients, like, focus on that. Like, a lot of clients might come to me and be like, I want to be an industry leader. I want to be premium. I want to sell high ticket. Like, yes, but a lot of that is, how do you deal with problems? Like, how do you become the person who can easily like deal with a problem that would years ago take you to a place where you're like crying and your week is ruined, to a place of like, I'm sad about it for 15 minutes and then I move on. Then I continue, keep going with my day. And that's a completely different level of self-leadership and leadership and CEO level leadership of your business. The CEO can't like take a break just because they're feeling down for a bit. Like, they still have to show up. they still have to deal with things, and they still have to deal with their emotions and deal with their thoughts and deal with things in order to scale. And that doesn't mean that you don't feel the emotions, but you need to feel them quicker. Like you need to overcome the feeling way quicker. So there are some things that would in the past take me to a place of like, I don't know if I can handle this. I feel so bad. I feel so disappointed with myself. And now it's something that isn't even taking over my day. Like I'm dealing with it and then I move on. Like my day is still a good day. It's bothering me for a short amount of time. I deal with it and then I move on. So that was one big thing. Like you have to become the kind of person who deals with problems that you now feel is overwhelming. You have to be someone who doesn't think it's overwhelming, but just thinks it's like a small, tiny thing. And how do you get to that point? Well, one thing is you learn because you have to go through it. You have to deal with those problems and learn and notice yourself handling them in ways that you don't like and committing to handling them differently next time. The other thing is I've had a lot of mentors and coaches, everything from business mentors to like subconscious coaches and stuff like that. And that's really, really helped me become stronger as a leader and as a person and have a different perspective, because those people have either helped me deal with the mindset stuff, or they have also dealt with those problems several times again and again and again, and have been able to give me a different perspective. And that is super helpful, because then you feel like you're not alone and you're not the only one who has dealt with those things. Or being in groups, in masterminds, group programs with other high-level experienced entrepreneurs who have the same problems or have the same issues. And that's what I love about my mentorship program, Industry Leader Lounge, as well, where everyone are like high-level entrepreneurs, experienced entrepreneurs. Everyone knows what it's like to deal with an unhappy client or deal with mindset blocks when you are growing, or self-sabotage or procrastination, or whatever it is we deal with as leaders and ambitious entrepreneurs. And it's very helpful to be in those kind of groups where people just get it. Like I could never be in a group with people who have had like 3 clients in their life and they don't know what it's like to have, 50 clients, or they don't know what it's like to have, team support, or they don't know what it's like to be visible on social media or anything like that. Like I would need to be surrounded with people that just know, and they can give you advice from a place of like, I know, I've been there, this is how I dealt with it. So that's been very helpful for me as well. And another thing that I had to learn as scaling from my first 6 figures to multiple 6 figures was the fact that, recurring clients is very valuable. And having people not just come back, but reinvest with you and sometimes invest in multiple offers is sometimes like the most efficient way to grow your business. And you might be focused on, when you reach your 6 figures, you're focused more on getting new clients. You focus on just kind of getting people into your offers. But I wish almost from the beginning that I was more focused on like, how do I get people into my offers? How do I make them as successful as I possibly can make them, and make sure it's the right people that come in? And then how do I make something a very natural next step and make sure they're the kind of person who would also be ready for the next step? Like to have more of a long-term vision of like, how can people buy from you again and again and stay for a long time and upgrade from group to one-on-one, or upgrade from one mid-level group to high-level group, like whatever it could be, like focus on that. Another thing I had to learn was it's very easy to think that you need many different offers. And yes, there are people with multiple offers, like a product suite with different offers, and that works for them. But a lot of people tend to have like 4 different offers, even before they've made one single offer crazy successful. I don't really want to see you launch a new offer unless you either believe that your current offer is just not working. Yeah, maybe you need to say goodbye to it because it's not working. It doesn't sell. And you want to create a new offer to test that to the market. Or your first offer was so successful and worked so well, and you really perfected your sales strategy for that offer that you can now add a new offer. Or it's like a natural next step for your first offer, right? But a lot of people have like a 6-week group program there, a 4-week group program there, one-on-one there, a this there, like this there. And for some people, yes, that works, but usually that works because they are already successful in selling their first couple of offers. So they already know how to repeat that success in other offers. Because it might be that if your offers are not working, you need to perfect how you sell those other offers and not just focus on like creating additional new offers, right? So try to focus on less is more. And I really saw big success when I stopped selling multiple offers, went all in on one offer. And when that offer worked, I started adding an upgrade, like a one-on-one, so people could either upgrade or continue working with me, but in one-on-one. And that was extremely valuable because all of my marketing focus, all of my sales focus was specifically focused on making one offer work, not like 1 month to promote that offer, then 1 month to promote that, then that. Like it's truly something so valuable in being deeply committed to one thing. And people think that growth comes from doing something really sexy again and again, like, and by that I mean like doing a new launch, like always doing something new. And that might add excitement to your life to do something new, but that's not necessarily always what's going to add success, because a lot of it is like doing repeatable actions again and again. And it's even with some of my clients, like a big portion of their success is their level of consistency as well. Because you need to be able to just do the things that you think doesn't work, or you don't see the short-term results, but you put in the work to get to the level where you're at immense success. Which is why some long-term clients of mine like tell me like, you know what? Like one client of mine told me, leads is the very least of my problem. Sales is coming in. I locked down, 400K in revenue already for the year, and I don't have to sell more. I know I will close at 400K. And she's probably going to make way more than that, right? Because there's so much more time left of her business year. Like that's the kind of results you get from doing a lot of things that don't always look exciting, right? It's not always about doing something new, but about continuing doing the things that you're doing. And mindset-wise, that can be struggling. That can be difficult. And I was just mentoring a client through this the other day who was like, I want to do something new. I want to launch a new offer. And talking her through it, we realized that this was just kind of shiny object syndrome. She was procrastinating, right? And by procrastinating from the things that she really needed to do that would really generate the most results, she came up with a new idea of a new offer that wasn't really necessary in order to continue to grow her business. What she really needed to do were the marketing activities that we had already planned for her to do, right? So those are some of the things that I learned as I was scaling to multiple 6 figures. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, feel free to let me know. I think I could do like several hours podcast on this topic. I could even write a book on this topic, to be honest with you. So let me know if you would like to hear more about this. I would love to hear from my podcast listeners on Instagram. I'm Joella Skog on Instagram, so make sure you follow me. Make sure that you are tagging me if you're listening to the podcast, and I'll definitely repost you. And again, if you're a six-figure entrepreneur scaling to multiple six figures, I can help you and be your mentor on that path. So apply to Industry Leader Lounge, or if you feel like a one-on-one offer would be a better fit for you, message me and just let me know like what are your one-on-one offers, because I currently do have a temporary offer called the multi six figure CEO container, which is a 3-month one-on-one with me as well, where I just take on a few selected clients for this first half of the year for 3 months, and making sure your business is set up to scale to six figures, multiple six figures, that is. And in order to be a fit for that offer, you should be at least at six figures. I assume you're at like 80K to 150K, maybe even 200K, something like that. And then you're a perfect fit for this offer. So message me on Instagram and just let me know, like, Joella, I would like to work with you. I just don't know how, and we can discuss. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode. I'll talk to you soon.